Recently, in one of my episodes on BB Techie Podcast, which you can find on Apple Podcast and Spotify Podcast, I did talk about everything you should know about Starlink, the severe implications of Starlink, and the downside of Starlink. So if you're somebody who is trying to get a Starlink, or if you already purchased Starlink, then the episode is for you, because it's something that is going to tell you everything you should know about Starlink, the technicalities and the normal things, from the cost to the severe implication that has to do with the environmental implications, astronomical interferences, and latency issues. Today, information reaching me is that Starlink has been a problem for area pilots. So I'm going to dive into this vividly. You should know that every product comes with its own implications, problems, the good and the bad aspect of it. It does not matter the product. Every good product comes with severe implications. And some of them are severe to the extent that, it has a very high impact on our lives. As it stands now, Starlink is causing a huge problem that has to do with space debris, astronomical interferences, and a whole lot of things. So space debris are junks that are left in space, that are just orbiting the Earth at the speed of 17,500 kilometers per hour. These debris are very, very, very toxic to things in the universe. So if a satellite collide with any of these debris, it becomes a very big problem. If a starship is maybe in orbit going to the moon, or maybe going to the ISS, the International Space Station, and if any of it get in contact or collide with the space debris, it's going to cause a catastrophic event. So this is a very big problem that even satellite companies are facing. And Starlink is also going to be a contributor to these things. Sometimes we don't look at the good aspect of a company. We have to look at also the bad aspect and find ways and means to solve some of the problems that it comes with it. So you should know that Starlink is very expensive. And then being expensive, they also have monthly subscriptions. Apart from that, it is weather dependence. So if you're somebody who has Starlink, or somebody who is planning to get a Starlink, just know that Starlink is weather dependence. Latency issues. It has low latency, everybody understand. But the speed of Starlink is not up to fiber broadband. Fiber broadband are still faster than Starlink. You need people to talk about the technicalities of these things. Starlink has a lot of implications, and then you have to look at these things. Maybe you might not know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to read this article, and then you get an understanding of what I'm trying to say. This is what Malama tells Space Today, and I read, said, how can sunlight reflecting off SpaceX Starlink satellite interfere with ground-based operation? This is what a study recently posted to the ARXIV preprint server hopes to address, as per of researchers investigate how Starlink satellites appear brighter, which the researchers also refer to as flaring, to observers on Earth when the Earth is at certain angles, along with discussing past incidents of how this brightness has influenced area operations on Earth. This study holds the potential to help spacecraft manufacturers design and develop specific methods to prevent increased brightness level, which would help alleviate confusions for observers on Earth regarding the source of the brightness and the objects in question. Here, Universe Today discussed this research with Anthony Malama of the IAU, Center for the Protection of Dark and Quiet Skies from Satellite Constellation Interference, regarding to the motivation behind the study. significant results, potential follow-up studies, importance of studying Starlink satellite brightness, and implications for managing satellite constellations in the future. So what was the motivation behind this study? I studied the brightness of Starlink satellites under all circumstances. Malama tells Universe Today that includes their operational phase at 550 kilometers, 342 mile altitude, when they are rising from the initial orbit around 300 kilometers, which is 186 miles, to operation height. Ordinary flares, which occur frequently but have small amplitude, and these extreme flares. For the study, the researchers conducted a geometrical analysis of the brightness of Starlink satellite based on the sun's location and angle in the sky. This comes despite SpaceX taking steps to mitigate reflectivity of Starlink's satellite, which only decreases reflectivity when the satellites are directly overhead. The study also discussed how reflectivity from Starlink satellite has affected area operations, specifically with commercial airline pilots. So what Malama is saying, that the brightness of SpaceX, the brightness of the Starlink satellite is interfering with area operations. So pilots are having problem because of the severe brightness of Starlink, and astronomers on Earth studying or researching are also having problem because of the brightness of Starlink satellites. And they say that what were the most significant results from this study? Malama tells Universe Today this study demonstrated that Starlink can be exceedingly bright under certain conditions. In one instance, they were reported as unidentified area phenomenon (UAP) by pilots on 2 commercial aircrafts. They say regarding potential follow-up studies, Malama tells Universe Today, I am characterizing the brightness of other satellite constellations, including Amazon, Kuiper, AST Space Mobiles, Blue Walker or Bluebirds, and Planet Pelicans. The study mentions how the UAP incident occurred in 2022 and was recently discussed in Buettner et al. 2024. It said with the pilot reporting brightness magnitude, also called stellar magnitude or apparent magnitude, of -4 to -5. For context, a stellar magnitude of -5 is equivalent to the planet Venus at its brightness, which is known for being observed before sunrise or after sunset periodically throughout the year. The apparent magnitude scale ranges from -30 to 30, with higher numbers corresponding to decreasing brightness. Buettner et al. 2024 was recently presented at the 4th IAA Conference on Space Situational Awareness (ICSSA). That paper discussed how the incident occurred on August 10, 2022, and was observed by 5 pilots aboard 2 separate commercial airline flights over the Pacific Ocean, which resulted in 2 photographs obtained by the pilot's cell phones. After analyzing a series of simulations and additional data, the researchers determined these UAPs were Starlink satellites launched earlier that day. It said were Starlink satellites launched earlier that day, which were designated as Starlink Group 4 to 26. Given this incident, what is the importance of studying Starlink brightness or flaring? Malama tells Universe Today, the importance of studying Starlink brightness is that the satellite interfere with astronomical research. Malama tells universe today that the importance of studying the Starlink brightness is that the satellite interfere with astronomical research. Interfere with astronomical research. If they are brighter than magnitude 7, furthermore, casual sky watchers such as amateur astronomers and naturalists are distracted by those brighter than magnitude 6 because they are visible to the unaided eye. This study comes as SpaceX Starlink constellations continue to grow on a regular basis, with the number of current Starlink satellites in orbit having reached more than 5,000, with almost 6,000 having been launched by SpaceX as of this writing. This is a very big problem that they are facing, and something needs to be done. They said, as noted by both the study and Malama, sunlight reflectivity of Starlink satellite causes issues with both area operations on Earth and astronomical observing, with Malama also conducting research on satellite constellation brightness for Amazon, AST Space Mobile, and Planet Labs. Therefore, with the number of satellites in orbit rapidly increasing due to constellations, what implication could this study have on managing satellite constellations in the future? Malama tells investors today, one approach to reducing satellite brightness is to reflect sunlight into space rather than allowing it to scatter diffusively towards observers on the ground. That works very well most of the time. However, there are certain sun satellite observer geometries where it fails and observers see mirror-like reflection of the sun. Malama published a 2023 article with Sky and Telescope discussing how SpaceX's second generation of Starlink satellites are fainter than their predecessors. Malama credits his co-author Richard Cole as playing a crucial role in this study, noting how Cole predicted the extreme flares based on his numerical model on Starlink satellite brightness. How will sunlight reflectivity of Starlink satellite influence ground operations in the coming years and decades, and what steps can be taken to mitigate this activity? Only time will tell. If a satellite is going to be too bright for observers on Earth, astronomers on Earth, to conduct their researches, then what do you think is happening? Pilots are complaining. This is a very big issue that we need to tackle. Even though Starlink is praised for the speed of its internet and how it's helping rural areas, it still have huge downside that has problem with human lives. So he's saying that how can a satellite be too bright to the extent that it causes interferences, astronomical interferences? This is what we have to look at. There are things that we have to pay critical attention to. We need to find ways and means to reduce this brightness, reduce space debris. Space debris I'm talking about is a very big issue that we need to tackle. How many companies are coming up with a better solution to eradicate space debris? So as like junk from cars, vehicles, the things we use in our houses and all of that are being dumped at a place and later on being sorted out and then, taken out to places that are very safe. In the space, satellites that are being left over there, that are junk, satellites that are done with their lives, satellite or maybe rockets that are already ejected. The parts are being left in space. There are a lot of things that are being left in space. And these things are working, moving in the speed of 17,500 kilometers, creating a debris belt. It's creating a debris belt. Some years ago, a part of a satellite fell on somebody's building, caused a catastrophic event. We shouldn't look at the short term of the product that we are using. Let us look at the longer term. What are some of the implications that we are going to face later on? If astronomers are unable to read weather, then we wouldn't know what is coming to hit this planet. Because there are a lot of things in the universe, asteroid, meteoroid, a lot of things like the aurora that happens. That is how astronomers are able to study the weather. Whether it's going to rain today or tomorrow, it's all about satellite. It's all about observing, the atmosphere. So if satellite is so bright for these people to be able to conduct their researches, what do you think is going to happen? It says that it is too bright as Venus at its bright, time. Venus is very bright. After Mercury, we go to Venus. Mercury, we go to Venus. So Venus is very bright. So they're telling you that Starlink satellite is brighter as Venus, then you know that it's a very big problem. We need to face these problems. This is a technical thing that you don't see. You will not know this. It's a big problem to our universe. It's a big problem to our planet. We need to look at this. When astronomers are being sent to the ISS, the International Space Station, the rocket don't go. There are parts that are being ejected into orbit, and there are parts that are going to be left. The rocket that are being left now join the debris. They join the debris belt. So if there are future missions, if there are future astronomers going up there, they don't take care and they collide with any of these debris, it's going to cause catastrophic problem, issue. These are some of the technical things you have to look at. As technology is advancing, what are some of the implications are we taking to reduce the problem that we are going to face tomorrow? We need to sit down and take measures that are going to protect the things that we are inventing today. We are inventing a lot of things. It's amazing. It's helping humanity. But what about what is going to cause later? Like space debris, like the brightness of Starlink, weather problems. We have to be very critical. We need people to talk about these kind of things. We shouldn't say, I did the research about this and it's too bright. No. There are things that we need to discuss. And how do we go about it? Everybody wants to get Starlink. And as people are getting Starlink, going for Starlink, the more they are going to send a lot of Starlink satellites to the air. As I'm talking to you, 5,000 to 6,000 plus Starlink satellite has been, shoot to the air already. Some of them are going to be faulty, going to be dead, and they're going to be added to debris, creating a very bad debris belt. It looks like you don't know what I'm talking about. Look at debris belt as something like orbiting the Earth like this. And these things are junk. They are destroyed. They are things that are no good. They are dead parts that are deteriorated. Parts that are deteriorated. Parts that are scattered. So these parts have created something called space debris, junk debris. And the speed they used to orbit is 17,500 kilometers per hour. So the speed of it, if any of them collide, we are dead. If astronomers are going to ISS, we are going to conduct something, and something happened, if they collide with any of these debris, it's going to be a problem. How do we solve these problems? Mr. Elon Musk, what are you doing about your Starlink satellite, the brightness of it? I know you are taking steps. How far have you gotten with it? Are we going to have, our ways and means to reduce the reflectivity anytime soon? We need to work on this ASAP. The space debris, companies, Amazon, Starlink, Bluebird, Origin. What are you guys doing about the space debris? Is there any measures put in place? Anything can happen. We should be very careful with the things we are inventing. It is amazing, it's beautiful, but we have to be very careful with it. Baby Techie here. I am going to give you the huge downside and the implications of the things we are creating. Somebody needs to do this. We can't always praise the things we are using. We can't always praise our inventions. Sometimes we have to look at the bad aspect of it, because that is what is going to cost our lives tomorrow. Not the enjoyment of it, not what it's doing for us today, but the effects, the implications, the downside is what is going to cost us. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. So we have to be very cautious about the things that we are doing. We have to be very, 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 very careful with the things that we are doing. Let us find ways and means to create protections to prevent our inventions being deadly to us. Baby Techie here. This is also another episode. If you like this episode, kindly subscribe to my channel. If you're watching me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, follow my page. Share this video to 2 of your friends, just 2. Let them also get to hear this. I want you to know that I love you so much. And I'm always going to do my best to bring you the things you should know, so that you'll be very careful. We cannot enjoy only. Everything has advantage and disadvantage. We need people to talk about disadvantage so that we can create awareness, educate the populace, and find ways and means to create solutions for these things. If nobody is talking about the disadvantages, then the tenacity for creating solutions will be as little as this. But if everybody is talking about it, then it's going to spike them to do something about it. So let us all be good humanities and impact this universe together. Otherwise, tomorrow is going to be you. Thank you for watching this episode. If you're listening to me on any of my podcasts, thank you for listening to me. Kindly follow me and turn on the notification bell for insightful episodes like this one. Thank you. Bye-bye.